Welcome, and this is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green.
Ekabo, and welcome to the traditional Herbal Health Show. And before I introduce you, and welcome to the traditional Herbal Health Show. And
Baba, we're having a technical problem this afternoon. I'm not hearing you at all.
All right. Okay, then we will have to work on that. I am hearing everything clear on my end, so I do not know exactly what's the problem. But let me proceed to read, and then we'd start the show, and then I would work on that problem in the background. All right. The essay Ifa that I'm going to read today is Oturapon Obara. All right. The essay reads: Ola silonile, ola dehinsile, adifa fu itamoke. Woni omo nati obi ko ni kuko ni lanilera. Sugbon omo nako ni bweodo rinigbata obadagba. Woni ko owa roboko ki omo naba ni ayerere o bo oru. All right. The English translate to: honor goes forth from the house, honor returns to the house. Divine Ifa for Iyamoke, the mother who knows how to nurture. They said the child shall give birth. She gave birth to would not die or be unhealthy, but the child would not stay with her after she grew up. They said that the child should practice sacrifice so that the child might have a good life. She heard and complied. All right, yeah. Um, I would introduce the host for today's show, Coach Ianti Ifatoke.
I'm not hearing anything, but I believe that's my turn to speak. Salafiani, I'm very happy to be back on the program. I mean, when we skip a week or two, it's always a pleasure to be back. And I send my greetings to all our viewers and listeners, whether you are connecting with us via the YouTube channel or other platform on Facebook. I think we should include Instagram Live in our next season. So today is the last Sunday of the season, and so we would like to review the theme, and highlight the most important encouragement and advice that we have discussed over the past 16 weeks, because it's been 16 weeks already. And remember that the theme was about eating to live. Okay, so we spoke about the many aspects of how the food we eat could affect our balance, whether it is a physical balance or whether it is our emotional and even spiritual balance. So I'm going to take the time also to thank all the hosts, all the speakers who have agreed to be on the show and share the experience, the knowledge, the expertise. For some, they make some special effort because they were connecting from far. And who says far usually speak about a great time difference. So we are very grateful for all those who really connected with us and agreed to be part of this great discussion. So we are going to conclude to speak about spring. This is a time of the year where everybody let's say everybody who did not take the train in January, try to take the train now. Why? Because Ramadan has started, and because many Muslims in the world are fasting throughout the day and only eating during the dark hours, if I say that right, but I believe it's during the dark hours. Many people are taking a chance to jump on board. Sometimes we jump on board for the wrong reason, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it does not work. So it may work for different purposes. So either a greater spiritual connection or rejuvenation physically, because eating less, is helping the body to flush, and also maybe resting more because we abstain from certain practices. I'm saying we, but I'm not fasting for Ramadan. I used to when I was younger, because it was the perfect time to just unplug from everything and take a break, from the break that we took in January. So why now? Why Ramadan is now? It's because the seasons are changing. It is the beginning of the cycle in nature. And so therefore it is also a time to, many people consider it the new year as well, because this is when everything is renewed, all the cycles are reset in nature. So for many, it is also the new year in terms of natural energies. So we take that time to take the first moment of the year to connect with God. That's also a Christian principle to take, to take from what you earn or what you have first and give it to God. So this also apply to your holistic balance. So the first thing I want to speak about this afternoon is, of course, disease. So a disease technically is a conflict of your energy. So whether it is a conflict between your mental, emotional energies, or whether it is between your hormones, a conflict between the balance in your organs or the elements. But what happens is that it results in a stagnation in your body, and hence a congestion. You will notice that whenever you are not okay, you are sick, even if it might just be the flu, usually you are also constipated. And
Okay,
so
yeah. Can you hear me now?
I'm barely hearing you. I'm just hearing a whisper, and it's not even loud enough for me to
All right, very well.
pick up, what you say. I'm reading on your lips. I hope that the viewers can hear either you or I. But let me see. All
Could you
right.
hear me better now?
Just a
Any better?
whisper.
All right, okay.
Okay. Maybe you need to change the ear set. It has happened to me on this setting as well.
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
Okay. So in terms of body constitution, the body constitution is going to have a great influence on your well-being, because apart from twins, identical twins, no one has the exact same constitution, meaning that whatever I may eat, whatever medication I may take, even if it's pharmaceutical medication or whether it is an herbal blend, is not going to impact my body the same way it is going to impact someone else, because we are not balanced the same way. So we speak about many type of traditional medicine. So today we're going to refer a little about the Chinese medicine, and we're going to mention the 5 elements, which are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And this, according to traditional Chinese medicine, is a total creative cycle, and it relates respectively to the life process of idea, action, manifestation, communication, and reflection. So from reflection now comes new idea, and there's a new cycle start. So exactly, that's why I'm taking the time now to compare this also to the fasting during Ramadan, because we are reflecting, we are taking a break from our daily habit and so on. It causes us to start a new cycle. So many
Okay.
people who are not, into Islam usually start that at the beginning of the year, because that's when the new year would start for them. But for others now, they start this whole regeneration and detox at this particular time. But what's nice now with Ramadan is that it's not just like a process of cleaning up your body. We really apply the process that we have spoken about before, meaning that you have to do a work on aligning your mind also with the rest of your body. So when a cycle changes, it means that um, everything is changing around us. And above all what we have discussed before, we can deduct that when we resist change, we are liable to get sick. The body will the body is going to develop some tension because the energy cannot flow. And so wherever the energy cannot flow, it means that your meridians, the meridians are the various conducts that we have in the body. So even passing through your vein, that's where your life force is circulating. Whenever there is a congestion, then we turn to accumulate tension and also blockages as well as mucus inflammation. And so every effort of the body is to bring those energies into alignment. And so our focus now is to live in alignment within, but also according to the cycles that is surrounding us. So that would mean that we have to pay attention to what's going on in nature around us in order to adjust. So we spoke also about mental health because if I recall, one of our first guests was Dr. Akpe Emmanuel, the stress management coach from Nigeria.
Yes,
And
I
so he also
remember him
explained
quite
back then
clear.
the importance of managing our stress and the other event in our life in order to remain healthy. So much health difficulties seem to be intertwined with life daily stresses, whatever tension in the family relationship. And I'm saying family because sometimes we may think that it's only about relationship trouble, but just dealing with your children or your neighbors may bring you stress that we tend to overlook. Maybe you're going to a club and you are forever fussing and in disagreement with what is going on. I'm going to take an example, and I know that some of you may not be too happy with me, but by now I think everybody's accustomed to the fact that I like to express myself about things that people whisper about. For example, in our cultural community, we have a lot of leaders. And very often our leaders meet and have discussions to improve the community. However, very often they end up having a lot of disagreement, and this one is upset with this one, and but we still come together and we still talk. But behind closed doors is a lot of a lot of resentment going on. And what through the result for that is that people end up being sick, and they are sick because they are not in alignment with the circles, with the activities that they put themselves through. Sometimes if you know that meeting with certain people is not going to do well on your health, it is better to just abstain, than to put yourself through elevated blood pressure, okay, or hurting, your kidneys, your liver, just because you may repress your anger or other emotions. And this is something that we should definitely take into consideration. And so there should be a time, sometime when we realize that, okay, well, I've done my part for this particular organization, and maybe it's time to operate in a different um, perspective to avoid friction and to avoid unnecessary stress on your organs. Also, we have discussed the importance of relaxing the mind and the body. So we spoke about different therapies, including hydrotherapy. I think this was somewhere around the month of February. And so we would like to encourage you to adjust yourself to changes. Usually we experience fear when we are scared, and we want to remain stuck to a particular comfort zone, but we realize that we don't have any control over the changes, and therefore we are scared. And all this is generating a lot of negative energy that is actually like leaking toxicity within our organs. So a change is always a positive change, even if we go through a lot of negative emotion, because it gives us the opportunity to experience something different. And usually it will give us the opportunity to grow. So it is said that the doctor of the future The doctor of medicine. And definitely in having this discussion every Sunday, this is what we would like to help everybody to set their heart and their mind on. And that is that from today or from this discussion, we will focus to take care of our body, our human frame. We will improve our diet in order to prevent creation of disease. So therefore, we would not need to rely so much on synthetic medicine. So 7 rules for that. Please eat when you are hungry, only when you are hungry. You know, very often we may be upset, we may be stressed, and we eat. And sometimes we eat the wrong food. Some people who get very upset, they tend to drink liquor or to smoke, whatever they choose to smoke. But all those things are very detrimental to the body. Take a moment to relax before you eat. We also encourage to do a lot of breathing exercise. This was covered by Dr. Ake, as well as our Ifa Orisa, you know, the Baba who spoke from Nigeria, who also stressed the importance of breathing, a lot of breath work. And if you breathe, if you take the time to relax and breathe before you eat, what happens is that the energy that is connected to releasing tension in different part of your body is going to be now refocused to your digestive tract. And so this is better for us. Okay, I'm just taking notes.
You hearing me now?
Also,
not here. Still not
I didn't
here.
hear that. Okay. We encourage you also to eat slowly and to chew well. This generation, we tend to always have a phone close by or a TV or computer. So very often we eat while we are watching something on TV or watching something on whatever device. But when we do that, we don't see anything wrong and we don't see any harm in the practice. However, yes, Baba? Okay, shall I continue? Okay. The harm in the practice is that whenever your eyes are focused watching whatever you're watching, because you could be watching YouTube, you could be watching TikTok, you could be watching the news, which the news is really bad because usually the news is stressful. But sometimes we feel like if you're watching comedy, it's not a big deal. The big deal is that at that particular moment, your energy is not focused on digesting the food. Your energy is focused on transmitting the information from what you are watching on the screen. But not just your eyes, your brain is also functioning for you to understand what is being spoken about. So it's like you are diverting the energy of your body to another activity instead of focusing everything to what you are eating. And if you are not a healthy person, if you are somebody who is suffering from chronic fatigue or any other type of stress, I mean, what does it mean? It means that most of the time, a great percentage of what you eat will not be assimilated. And we feel that it's still not a big deal sometimes because we feel like we eat rather healthy. But even if you eat healthy, if you're not digesting, it still becomes toxin. So it's still toxic to your body. And therefore, you know, we really got to practice analyzing those habits that we have that are detrimental to our balance and simply make the effort to adjust. Sometimes it is not easy for us to adjust today to tomorrow, but you just try every day. You just take one more step every day until you get to where you want to be. Also, we recommend that you eat slowly, that you chew well, but only eat what you need. We have the habit of not wanting to waste food, throw food away. And I don't know if that's inherited for all of us in the Caribbean, maybe other countries too, but I know that especially in the Caribbean, we never want to throw any food that is in the plate. So we would force the stomach. And I'm sure everybody has, you know, a memory of someone who would, you know, loose out the button from the pant, zip down the skirt. You would find some of the sisters, you know, releasing the brassiere in the back so that you could finish the plate of food in front of you because we don't want to throw anything. Well, actually, you're only harming your body when you're doing that, because if you have to do all of that to be able to finish your plate, it means that your body cannot even digest it. And remember what we say, when it's not digested, it is rotting inside of your body. So it means that even in your lymphatic system, a lot of toxin and putrefied food is going to be circulated, and this is not the nutrition that we need. So sometimes people wonder, why do they have a lot of breakout, especially the youth, a lot of acne and so on. And a lot of it comes from, bad habit, bad lifestyle. And we don't mean that you're doing something like you're hurting someone, but you are not treating yourself well in terms of your lifestyle practice. Then after you eat, what do we do in the Caribbean? I don't know for other people for sure, but I know that in the Caribbean, after we eat, we like to go and sleep. This is not right. Usually after you eat, we encourage you to get up and just do some light movement. Okay, some light movement. Of course, it doesn't make sense to go and exercise at that time, but just, walking a few steps, it will help you to digest, it will help you to assimilate, but to assimilate the ingredients better, but it will especially help you to have a better circulation of the nutrients in your body. For those who suffer from hypertension or poor blood circulation, people sometimes, will have edemas, the swelling in their leg, in their feet, and so on. Walking definitely helps to have a much better circulation. And so the last but not least is to eat a balanced diet. And this is a key word, balanced diet, because what is balanced for me, what is balanced for Baba mightn't be balanced, for example, for my mother, for my father, for my cousin, because everybody has a different body constitution. So therefore, you may have a little more air element. So therefore, maybe the way you process your food is not the way I would process my food. Okay, for example, I'm one who retain water easily, so certain foods, certain fruits that contain a lot of liquid in it are not good for me. It's not good for me, not to say that it's going to give me an allergy or anything, but it means that I'm going to add unnecessary water in my body that I won't be able to process. Okay, so from this, we can realize that the causes of illness are either internal or external. So the external causes, I have listed them. They can include the climate, so the weather around us, which can, whenever it is extreme, it can penetrate a weak organism and it can cause injuries. So, it could be from the wind, it could be from the heat, it could be from humidity, but it can also be from a traumatic injury. So if you just fall and you have a little scrape, that may not be so dramatic. It may not cause a trauma inside of your body. But let's say that, you bang yourself, or you dislocate a bone, or you dislocate, you dislocate anything in your body, then, it is a trauma for your body, and it might create an imbalance somewhere else, not just at the site of the injury. In terms of the internal causes, we have to pay attention to our emotions. For some reason, mental health is not something that people are very comfortable speaking about, although since the quarantine, people seem to be speaking about mental health a whole lot more, which is great. Because we have to understand that our emotions are going to also affect the way we process our food and the way the body functions. So whenever we are happy, everything seems to be in alignment. I will compare that to whenever maybe people just fall in love and they're so happy. Everything is beautiful. Nothing is stressful, because you know that you just can't wait, to see this new person that you have fallen in love with, so that even if, like, I don't know, you get a heavy light bill, a heavy water bill, it does not even bother you because your heart is fluttering. So therefore, you are happy, you will digest your food more, you will sleep better, you might even get up and exercise, right? So that's because you have a lot of positive energy flowing through your body. But on the other hand, there are also those other emotions that are actually very detrimental to the body. So that would be, for example, to be sad. If you are sad for too long, if you are an angry person, you're always angry, you can't get rid of the anger, This is why I'm speaking about our circles. It's very important to be around people who don't cause us to be out of control. You know, I remember having to tell people who were closing my cycle that I didn't want them around me anymore. And I was like, you bring the worst temperament out of me, and I don't want you around me. You know, because from this you realize that you don't sleep well, you don't digest well, your skin break out, you wonder what's going on. Okay, so depression is terrible also to the body, worry, grief, and also fear. All of those negative emotions are preventing the body from functioning properly because they are sucking all the life force from your other organs. And so you would realize that when you experience those emotions for too long, you get sick. So for some people, it might be losing weight. So I would hear some ladies tell me, at least when I am stressed, I get small. But that's not the right way of losing weight, because that mightn't be, a long-term weight loss neither. But apart from the weight loss, there might be also deprivation for the organs. So balancing your mind is very important if you want your body to be healthy. So each each arm, so each one of those emotions may affect a specific organ. So for example, a cold or damp factor will injure the lungs, whereas hot and dry factors will affect the heart. And I took note that emotionally suppressed anger will injure your liver. So you would realize that if you've been angry for a long time, but because you don't swear any bad word, you don't break anything, you don't kick the wall, you don't slap anybody, so you feel good, you feel like you're holy, but you're keeping this anger within. And out of the blue, you realize that you're having a lot of skin rash. You realize that, your skin is breaking out, a lot of pimples, even like you may develop intertrigo. So like you realize in like wherever you have skin fold, that you're developing a lot of rash and it's itching. It's very difficult to take care of. And what happened here, it means that your liver has become weak. And we don't think about those things. Now, if you go to a doctor, they're going to give you something to treat the skin. Or you may go also to a dermatologist and you're going to get something to treat the skin when the problem is not necessarily the skin. It might be the liver, but to the liver, you got to also pay attention to what is causing the liver to not function properly. Because if we accept that we are created by God, we also understand that the body is supposed to heal itself whenever everything is in alignment. That is an alignment within and in alignment around us as well. So based on that, I always like to come up with my disclaimer. We are not physicians. And so therefore, if you are experiencing any type of chronic health situation, before you attempt to make any major changes in your lifestyle, it's always good to discuss with your family practitioner, your doctor, whatever. And if you decide to use some of the herbs that we mentioned, because I'm going to mention a few when we are done just now, remember that they are not going to work for everybody the same way. So an experienced alternative medicine practitioner, for example, may be able to tell you that moringa is not good for you. I'm not saying that moringa is not good, but I'm saying that moringa is not good for many people. But because you would read everywhere that moringa is full of vitamin D's and vitamin that everybody's flying and take it. And then later on they realize maybe it might take a long time before the imbalance settles in. But once it is settled in and it is installed deep in your tissues, it's very difficult to get rid of. I just chose moringa randomly, but you could also sit and speak about turmeric as well for a long time, because you would know that many people also advise against the use of turmeric. But you might find even more people saying, yes, use turmeric, than people justifying why it is not good for everyone to use turmeric. And sometimes for some, you may use the turmeric, but you have to blend it with something else in order to absorb from it and not to cause imbalance in your body. So the reason why we always reiterate the importance of consulting a physician or someone who is experienced in alternative medicine is that if, for example, you're having issues with your heart, or you're having issues, diabetes, for example, maybe that person will know that a particular herb is not good for you. If you have a weak organ, the person will know that such blend is not good for you and will recommend something else. However, we live in an age where everybody is an expert, a Google expert. This is very dangerous. Okay, it's very dangerous because sometimes when we want to do something good for ourselves, we end up, wanting maybe to save the price of a consultation, bypass wisdom, and decide that I have knowledge. And so for this, I found a very interesting quote that I'm going to read. And before we get to the quotation, the explanation goes as follows. Students of conventional holistic training who have come through a college, a university, private a school of nutrition, whatever college, are usually compared as receptacles for the professor's thoughts and ideas. And they are also compared as a reservoir versus a fountain. No rudeness intended. I'm just reading an interesting quotation. And so the reason why it is introduced that way, it means that the reservoir would retain water, whereas the other one give forth the water. So knowledge, degree, titles, and I always say so. This is why I do not allow people to call me doctor anything. Call me Coach Yancy, call me Yancy. Having the education is great. It takes you somewhere and it gives you credential to some places where people need to see the credential to feel that they're talking to someone who's an expert. But if you have all the knowledge, but you cannot convert it into wisdom to know how to apply it according to the person who is in front of you, it becomes just like stagnant water in a reservoir. Now, I don't know for you guys, but I don't like stagnant water. That's for me. I like flowing water. So, like food, herbal remedies, they have to be digested. So, whether you choose to take a supplement or whether you choose to go and pick the bush directly in nature, whether it is bush barks, roots, whatever, um, for it to work in your body, you have to be able to digest it. If you cannot digest it, your body cannot assimilate it, and therefore it cannot become a life force and it cannot heal your body. So, true that picking random herbs may bring you a temporary relief, but temporary relief is not going to cure any deep-seated imbalance at its core. So it's only an adequate assessment that will reveal which herb or plant is right for you. And this is when now we go, we praise, the heritage of being able to learn from expert herbalists, we will say. Who can give you the whole tradition of how people have done it over the years, and where you find the best is those who are trained both ways, so who have a conventional training but who also have training from ancestral wisdom, and so therefore you have the best of both worlds, and so those are the ones that you should definitely consider. So not necessarily the one who have a lot of machines around them, because the one who have a lot of machines is obviously
Okay, we seem to be having.
you hear me now? Okay, sorry for this. Okay, so technically what I was saying is that an assessment is very important. Okay, and by assessment, what do I mean? So by assessment, we need that you need to get your body type evaluated. So your practitioner will know what is working for you from what is not working for you. There, a lot of questions may come in. What do you mean, coach? Do you mean this and this and that? I'm not going to give more details because we really want to encourage you to consult your practitioner and not to be your own Google practitioner. Very often people do what they want and they call me and tell me, I took this, but it's not working. It is what can I do? This is not the way you're going to heal yourself. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Another type, a second stage assessment would be that if you probably went through a lab and get different blood works, you can bring those also to your practitioner. Now, some practitioners may not be able to process and analyze your blood work. We got to be honest about it. Okay. The live blood analysis is a great one as well. And live blood analysis is to go to a practitioner and they would just prick your finger, your hand, wherever. Just take a few drops of your blood and place them under a special microscope where they could see all what's going on live on the screen and tell you wherever you have imbalances. And so they will tell you, okay, well, you take these herbs for this. Usually they're only supposed to tell you where you have imbalances and don't recommend any herbs. But you would find that usually they would go further and tell you, take this herb or take this supplement for this and so on. Okay, the problem is the constitution of the body usually is not assessed when they do that, meaning that you may live with a very expensive prescription, but that prescription, I'm not even sure whether legally I can call it a prescription, let's call it a recommendation. And it might be a very expensive one. You might get some result, but you might cause yourself a little more imbalances because maybe some of those blends are not the best for you. The good thing about it is that since you'll have other imbalances, guess what? You will go back for another consultation. And I'm not throwing any stone at any practitioner. I'm just being honest. You can also do iridology assessment. This one now, it was something that wasn't used much for a long time, but now a lot of people are realizing the importance of it. And iridology, that's something that goes all the way back to Egypt, where they would look into your eye and look at the different meridian connection to your eye to know where you have imbalances on the part in other part of your body. I really do like this one, and I recommend most practitioners to really embark into being trained in iridology assessment as well, because it will only help them to have greater protocols offered to their clients. And you can also do the energetic assessment. And I'm saying that in plural. So why? Because now you have some machines, you probably can hold it with your hand or just stand up in front of it or scan the whole body and tell you more or less whatever the computer feels is not balanced within your body. And then we have the traditional way of assessing your energy, because the energy means that what's flowing within you and what's flowing around you. So our ancestors had our way also of doing that. There are several ways of assessing energetically. And so some would say I'm doing a reading, some would say I'm doing a consultation, etc. But whenever we speak on this show, I like to really like stay close or stick to holistic and not to embark on spiritual. I always say that I like to leave those who are properly qualified to speak about the spirituality to do so, and me, I just stick to health, which is mine. So whenever you meet someone who is properly trained, they are able also to tell you about food allergies that you have, which food you shouldn't eat. Traditionally, we would call it your taboos. They will also be able to tell you how to avoid using certain plants and certain food because it creates blockages in your body. And so sometimes we feel like those things are not important, but it is indeed very important, and it helps us to be healthy. Okay, and well, all of those things help us definitely to test our body system for stress, weakness, and imbalances. So based on that, what we want to say to reach to the conclusion of everything is that when we respect the energy flowing within our body and the energy flowing around us, that would also include the change of season, then we are healthier people. So let me detail that a little more. We are all taught from school that one apple a day keeps the doctor away. If you look around you, are the apples growing next to you? If apples don't grow near you, you probably don't need to eat apple a day to be healthy. You probably need to eat what's around you so that you could be healthy where you are located at that particular moment. You will notice that if you are in one particular region of the world and you relocate somewhere else, foods that you used to eat in your previous region now are reacting badly with you somewhere else. Not just food, maybe a lotion, a cream, a perfume you used to use. I don't know. Let's say if you were living in Europe, you would use a particular lotion, a particular soap, and it was going well with your skin. You would use a particular shampoo and your hair would be beautiful. And then you relocate to a hot part of the world, so whether in the Caribbean or whether to the motherland, and you realize out of the blue that it's not going with you anymore because it is better to adapt to the energies around us. And when we resist, that's when we create imbalances and when we become sick. All right. So each season, uh, each season is in alignment with special organs of the body. So I'm going to just call out a few and make some recommendations before we close. So spring usually is aligned with the liver and the gallbladder. So spring is a great time for you to focus on cleansing your liver and your gallbladder. I did not say a blood cleanse because sometimes we are stubborn and we're gonna say, but I am accustomed of doing it this way. And then 2, 3 years from now, you're gonna tell me that you're suffering with all kind of imbalances. It's because sometimes we need to revisit our tradition, our ways of doing things to pay attention whether it is actually beneficial to us or not. And that's when sometimes we will take the opportunity to adjust, learn what is really working for us. So spring is the best time to clean your liver and your gallbladder. And some herbal recommendation would be aloe vera, the nimbush, the guiana the bitter melon, milk thistle, and also turmeric. But remember what I said about turmeric. It's not good for everybody. So check your practitioner. Summer is in alignment with your blood circulation, your heart health, as well as your small intestine and your sexual organs. So around the summertime is the best time to detox this part of your body. And autumn, the fall, the best organs to clear at that time are the lungs and large intestine. And for the winter, your kidney and your bladder. Okay, so the herbs we should be taking between now and I believe that summer starts around June the 19th, somewhere about. So the herbs that we should be using are milk thistle, aloe vera, neem, bitter melon, turmeric. Remember, if you live in a country where turmeric is not growing naturally, ask yourself whether, for example, it is good for you. If you come from a region where maybe it is growing, eventually it might be good for you according to your particular body constitution. When it comes to your gallbladder, you cannot go wrong by using beets, not beets in the can, raw beet. Okay, so you can juice it. Remember that when you juice it, we're talking about healing your body. So I mean, like you drink it pure. You just add water to it and pure. No milk, no sugar. And if you choose to put a little essence, it's really a little bit. You're not draining the entire bottle of it, and do it because that's the way we like it. Fenugreek as well is very good, as well as cinnamon. And the last two, they also give you a boost in terms of balancing your blood, in terms of balancing your blood sugar. Bless you. Okay, so this is the last of this season. We would like to encourage you to live a life that is sustained by your direct relationship with your environment, with the land, with the energies of natures around you. And we would like you to give a feedback, of this particular season. We will break for a few weeks, and Baba will give us the calendar exactly. And if there are some special topics you would like us to cover throughout the next season, please feel free to contact either Baba or myself so that we could take them into consideration for the theme and for the lineup for the next season. But it's been a pleasure to be back on the network. Thank you for having me. Okay. Okay.